Welcome to another episode of Africans Talk Football TV. How's everybody doing tonight?
Pretty good. Pretty
Very
good.
good.
Cool,
Really
man.
good.
It's coming to the end of January. I feel like we were just talking about the year starting, and I don't know. I feel like this January kind of went pretty quick. A lot of games. We've been talking Afcon. We've been talking the Asian Cup as well. The Premier League is just about to get right back underway. I know there were a few breaks between, a couple of the teams having those extended, holidays, a little 10-day off. But yeah, we're kind of back into the swing of things. Just again want to say thank you to all of our supporters, all of our friends, all of our fans out there who have been commenting, who have been tapping into our live stream when we do go live. It's been fun to interact with you guys, in the numerous different ways. But yeah, man, I kind of just want to get right into it again. Afcon. I feel like that's been how we've been starting off a lot of our most recent episodes with the tournament now in the knockout stages. We've seen some good games, man. I know
Mhm.
last week we were talking about Afcon being probably the best or at least the most competitive international tournament outside of the World Cup. And I feel like it's we've just been
Yeah.
seeing more of it, honestly, in these knockout matches. Let me go to the top so we can go to the knockout stages. But we started with six groups. Unfortunately, Ghana wasn't able to go through. Sorry, Mike. We saw a lot of drama on the last day. I feel like
Mhm.
with of Afcon, certain teams going through and certain teams being knocked out. But yeah, man. So first games of the knockout stage, we got Angola 3-0, and then we got Nigeria beating Cameroon 2-0 on that first day. Um Honestly, that Angola match was I didn't see much of it, but it was crazy. Two red cards, three goals. I mean, it had a lot that you could ask for. Angola kind of quietly just been moving through the tournament. I feel like no one
Mhm.
really, had them as one of the teams to look out for. But if you look at them through their group stages, they did really, really well. I believe they're on top of the group with 3 wins, or I believe they had 2 wins on top of the group. And now they're pushing on. They see Nigeria coming up in a few days. But anything about that Angola versus Namibia?
Mhm.
Yeah, I feel like Angola is the slept on team right now. Nobody's paying attention to them, but we'll get to see them against Nigeria. See if maybe they've had favorable matchups or if it's for real. I think this that should be a really good game.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I
they.
mean, like when I'm just looking at 1-1 against Algeria, which is always a tough matchup. But then after
Mhm.
that, 3-2 against the 3-2, 2-0, and then now they just won in the knockout stages 3-0. So they've been winning by good margins.
Yeah,
I haven't
absolutely.
been able to see a lot of their matches, unfortunately. So I'm actually going to be tapped in to this Nigeria match because, just like we said, that same day, Saturday the 27th, Nigeria played Cameroon, which I believe was a big match. I feel like a lot
Mhm.
of people were up for that match. We're looking to see some fireworks. And shout out Ademola Lookman. He had a
Mhm.
brace,
Yeah.
36th minute and
Yeah.
90th minute. I feel like he's kind of I don't want to say reinvented himself this tournament, but he's come to the forefront. He's letting people on the world stage know who he is again.
Mhm.
A lot of us know him from his time in the Prem. He was on Leicester. He also played around the league. He was on Everton and Fulham as well, just on loan spells. But I always liked his game. I
Yeah.
never really knew where he would fit in. Now he's in Atalanta. Um, I'm just looking at his stats. He's played 56 goals for them since 2022, 22 goals. So 22
Wow.
goals in 56 games in the league. That's not
That's
to go.
pretty good. Yeah.
That doesn't go unnoticed. So it's good to see him kind of come back to the limelight. I was actually able to watch a little bit of that Nigeria game this past weekend. I saw the second half, and I don't
Mhm.
know. Nigeria looks solid. Like during the group
Yeah.
stages, I was kind of shook because shout out to Poppy again. He was one of the main ones. We'll talk about Senegal later, but he was one of the main ones. Talking about Nigeria. 2 goals through the group stages, and they were able to go through. And he was telling, our group, they have too much firepower to only score 2 goals in 3 games. And Lookman kind of took it on his shoulders to start the scoring. Oshiman looked decent as well during that game. At least in the second half, he looked a little bit more threatening. I know where I was watching it with Mike. Nigeria, how do we feel about them? Going through to the next round.
I think they might be the favorites now. Nigeria just has to keep their composure, win these games, and they could be Afcon champions, to be honest. I mean, we watched it together the whole time. I was against them. I didn't want to see it. But after the game ended, it was kind of like reality set in. Like, these guys are actually pretty good.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think they're definitely the favorites for the tournament right now. But I think this has just Nigeria written all over it for me. You know what I'm saying? To be the favorites on paper, best team in the tournament left, and I don't know. I have a slight feeling that Ivory Coast will end up edging them out, but I think that they'll win on their home turf. But one team I just wanted to give a shout out to is Cape Verde. I think ever since the Ghana game, they put me on. I mean, they put the world on notice. Definitely Africa on notice, and they've had like an amazing group stage, and their win against Mauritania yesterday definitely sets them up nice going forward. So, shout out Cape Verde.
Yeah, shout out Cape Verde. We're going to actually get onto them here in a little bit, but the next games we had Equatorial Guinea, who lost 1-0 to Guinea, and then Egypt. 1-1 match going into extra time. Obviously, there was no Mohamed Salah that match. They ended up losing in penalties. So we got to see Egypt leave. Was this expected after Salah got injured and was no longer able to go through to the group stage or the knockout rounds with them?
Yeah, Salah is a big part of their team, and for them to even move on from the group stages, that was a big miracle for them. And though I think they had a chance against Congo, I don't know. I still kind of wasn't shocked when they were eliminated, but even if they would have moved on, I just felt like maybe the competition would have been too much for them. But
I mean,
a big part of that team.
Yeah, even with Salah, I thought it was still kind of an uphill battle for Egypt. So without him, obviously things get a little bit more difficult. But I would say definitely a disappointing tournament for them as well too, especially considering like where that team is at. A lot of their guys are not getting younger, so I think this was definitely a missed opportunity for sure. And hopefully Salah comes back and is healthy.
He can wait until after we play them on.
Yeah, I hope.
Yeah,
I hope he's actually injured and he's just not gonna just hop in.
Yeah, because that injury was kind of it looked like it was one of those let's get him back to England as quick as possible type things. But I won't speak on it. But yeah, moving forward through the rest of the tournament, we had some games as well. Hold on, let me go back to
Senegal, Ivory Coast.
Yeah, so this was the big day. This was Monday. This was yesterday. Cape Verde going through 1-0 against Mauritania. I always pronounce that
Mauritania.
Yeah. And then Senegal losing in penalties against Ivory Coast 1-1.
Yeah.
So far, one of the biggest days of the tournament. We see the tournament trophy holders with I would say early exit. I mean, I feel like when we were talking about this in the beginning of the tournament, everyone put Senegal as one of those top clubs that would probably be in the finals again. And now we see them, with a very early exit. Do you guys think were you guys able to watch the match first and foremost? Because I wasn't able to watch the match. Only saw highlights. But Mike, what was your big takeaway from the match?
Big takeaway. Ivory Coast just came out and played with just pure passion. Like, to be honest, I felt like Senegal were the better team throughout the whole game.
Hmm.
But Ivory Coast just did not give up. That's all it was. They just didn't give up. And right when we got to the second half of the extra time, I could feel Senegal was starting to get worried. I mean, the pressure was on them. Ivory Coast didn't really have they shouldn't really be here. They don't even have a coach.
Yeah.
Right.
Ivory Coast don't even have a coach. I mean, Sadio Mane is still one of the great players. I mean, in Africa. He's probably one of the top, still one of the top players. But they just couldn't figure it out. And that's what we say about Afcon, man. Anybody can get beat.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, it was just Mendy's not a good PK taker. So right when I was like PKs, I'm like, yeah, I
He's
don't
not
see
good at
Mendy
making
saving
saves.
anything. Yeah, he's not saving anything.
Yeah.
And out of the 5, 3 of them, he didn't even move. So I'm not putting this on him. It was a great game, and I felt like the gods were with Ivory Coast. They're the host nation,
Yeah, there's always a
So
little bit of extra.
it was kind of nice to see. We're supposed to be here. We're here. Actually, got to win against the favorites and the title holders. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's hard. It's hard for me to say it's an upset just because they're on like home turf, but I don't know. I think for Senegal this is a massive disappointment. I mean, favorites in the tournament, you're almost close to flawless in the group stage. And again, I think is this Sadio Mane's last AFCON? I th- well, if I know one thing, he'll come back the next AFCON. If Andre Ayew is still hanging around, for a fact he'll come back.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, I think a lot of their players are in their prime, but they have a very bright future going forward. So I
Yeah.
think that they'll be fine. You on mute, Cornelius?
I mean, yeah, my bad. It's tough, man. You would love to see Mane. I mean, personally, seeing the way he left Liverpool, and we'll get to Liverpool here right in a second. I feel like he didn't get the hero's farewell that he should have
Yeah.
received, in my opinion. I mean, we've talked about it here on the pod. I feel like they made a business decision between whether keeping Salah or keeping Mane. With Salah being a little bit more of a prolific goal scorer, they obviously went that route. And we currently see Mane still on top form, but obviously plateauing a little bit. We can see a dip in his game for sure. But I don't know. Even when he wasn't on your team, you kind of just have to root for him, especially being
Yeah.
African. You see his humble beginnings, what he's doing off the field as well. He sends a lot of his money back home to Senegal. He's in the streets. He's building soccer camps and just what he does for his country is just
Country,
admirable.
absolutely.
So I always root for him, and to see him. And we kind of talked about it here on the pod too. He's kind of the big bro. He's kind of the elder statesman on the team. A lot of these Senegalese players are very, very young. A lot of 22,
Yeah.
23-year-olds. A lot of these guys, idolize him growing up. You got to think about it. Just 5-6 years ago when Klopp and Pep were battling for, Champions Leagues
Right.
and the league titles. They were still youngins, whether they were in the academy
Absolutely.
or they were back home in
It
Senegal.
seems like so
So
long ago.
yeah, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? 5 years for an 18-year-old is 13. So you
You
gotta think about
forget
it.
you forget Sadio Mane played for Bayern.
Yeah, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that happened too. Yeah.
He had a little short little
That's
cameo over
crazy.
at Bayern,
I was
so
disappointed that didn't work out. I was really
Yeah,
disappointed that didn't
I
work out.
know.
But
yeah, but you know what I'm saying? It's always good to see those stories, but hey, everyone's always shooting for the king, and when you're at the top, you gotta defend your crown. So, Senegal, tough luck to you, but this is definitely it's definitely something that I think they'll learn from for sure.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, then to end it off with our Afcon talk today, we had Mali 2-1 win against Burkina Faso, and then I would say probably the shock of the tournament. South Africa beating Morocco 2-0.
Yeah.
And I wasn't able to watch it, but apparently a huge miss by Achraf Hakimi on a
Yeah,
penalty
man.
spot. Just 12 paces away from goal. And I feel like when you miss a PK like that, especially at the timing of when it happened, there's
You're
really
right.
just no coming back.
Mhm.
There's really just no coming back. Football is a game of momentum. But for those of you that were able to watch the matches today, how did Morocco look? Was it always one of those things where they looked like they were on?
They didn't have
just didn't score, or
they didn't have Ziyech and Buffal. Those two are out today, so the attack looked different for sure. They still had their chances. We have to give it to what do you call it? South Africa, because I mean South Africa was good, early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, but they haven't been the same. And I mean, half of these guys still play in South Africa. So it's like a huge upset. Huge upset. Morocco just has a few guys that just play. I think they said 3 guys that were on the national team that play in their country. Everybody else plays in Europe. So it's a big upset. I think this is one of the biggest ones. Because Morocco too, apart from the 1-1 draw, they've looked really good. Like no problems. Yeah. So, big ups to South Africa. They deserve it. They outplayed them. Counterattack in football. I mean, they look so dangerous on the counterattack. It's crazy. They had this one guy. He's on the left. I can't remember his name. He's a left-footed guy. Huh?
Tao.
Oh yeah. Tao. That guy's pretty good.
Yeah.
Tao.
Yeah,
They're impressive.
they got a few. Tao, Zwane. They have a few.
On my drive home today, I was like, Cornelius's friend probably might not be wrong. To be honest, he might not be. Because it's like, it was a hot take, but as the tournament goes, it's like, he might be onto something here, actually.
I mean, just like the quality of what we're seeing,
Absolutely.
between each country. There's no, I mean, we said this last week. Right now, there's no real clear-cut big team. I mean, we saw Senegal go down. We just saw Egypt go down. So Morocco's down. It's a bad day for North Africa. They looking real light skinned.
Yeah,
real light skinned.
No, it's funny you say that though, Cornelius, because like as you're saying that, I'm just thinking it's like we have that perception, or at least everybody has that perception, and rightfully so, because they all play, in Europe. They all play in like these clubs that are, not in Africa. So our expectations are like, you guys are good enough to play elsewhere, so you guys should come here and just kind of, whereas the reality is hold on a minute, these guys are actually, and that's the thing. I think that's to Poppy's point. I think like that's the difference between the Euros and Afcon, because I just feel like you're not gonna get no, like, bro, give me a player from Iceland and I'll show you a player from Senegal. And like
Iceland is not beating Spain like that. It's like, so things like that don't happen often. Yeah,
and that's the thing. Like I think Mike said it a few episodes ago. Like a guy like Osimhen, 100 million, world class, world class striker, comes here and just looks just like everybody else. And I mean, and he hasn't even really kickstarted yet too. So I mean, if he does, Nigeria is going to be a problem. But yeah, I think Morocco getting kicked out was also a disappointment. Senegal Morocco was my final, but
oh wow,
here we are.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I think there was somebody said something like what was it, that I think 8 out of the 11 or in 7 out of the 11 South Africa starters all play for the same club. Chemistry has a lot to do with tournaments, you know what I'm saying? And it brings up a point to the point where how we have the finalissimo, is that what they call it, the winner of the Euros versus the winner of the Copa?
Mhm.
I mean, we got the Asian Cup and we got Afcon at the same time. I wouldn't be mad if they started throwing up every single winner
Absolutely.
in like a round robin. Let's not call it the World Cup, but we could call it the world,
Yeah,
the world something. You know what I'm
Bro, they
saying?
used to have the Confederations Cup.
Yeah,
I don't know why
it
they
was.
took that away. That was dope. That was
that
like
was a good
the summer
tournament.
before World Cup.
Hmm.
So you
That
have
was
all the champions from every continent,
You're
yeah.
and
right.
then
You're
they
right. It
took that
was
away.
confederations.
Yeah,
I,
it was
I
good.
I just wanted to say, as an American here, the Confederations Cup was something because I think in 2008, that was when USA beat Spain,
Mhm.
um, in the Confederations Cup, and that was a wild day. As an American, we ended up losing to Brazil, but that team was interesting, man. Landon
Yeah.
Donovan, Dempsey.
That was till this day. I
Boca-
still think it's been their best team.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
by far, by
I
far.
mean Boca Negra, Michael Bradley. You know,
Yeah.
guys like
Maurice Sadu. I
Maurice
mean,
Sadu.
there was a kid. I was watching the Ghana game in my office, and a kid walked in, and he was like, "Oh, you're watching the Afcon?" And he's like, he
Yeah.
saw Ghana on the TV, and he's like, "I can never root for Ghana. I'm sorry, Mr. Golo. You guys have done so much to us. I can just never root for Ghana to win." And I was like, "Wow,
That's
it's
hilarious.
actually a thing. People
Yeah.
actually remember that."
Yeah, no,
Yeah, 'cause I
Ghana
mean,
in the World Cup.
yeah,
Wow.
you got to think
Yeah.
about that, bro. That we
Yeah.
missed the next World Cup, so the U.S.
Yeah.
hadn't been in a World Cup since
Yeah.
the one where Ghana knocked us out, and
Mhm.
to miss the next one, it's like, oof.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
But
right.
yeah, man, it's definitely been an
It's been a
exciting
good
tournament.
one. Yeah. I
Again,
think with the way sorry to cut you off, but with
no,
the
you're
way
good.
this one has played out,
Mhm.
more, networks will pick it up.
It should.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would
it's a
hope so.
quality tournament.
It is.
there are moments where it's just
Oh,
like,
yeah. You question, yeah.
yeah, it's like, what's going on here? But
Mhm.
that's um, there is a lot of quality in the tournament, and with the players though too. So,
Yeah.
um,
More networks need to pick this up.
Yeah, it's been tough only having it on BN
Yeah,
Sports.
absolutely.
Otherwise, having to find like a stream somewhere. But yeah, if you can catch games, they've been on BN Sports. We are now in the quarterfinals, about to end the tournament here in a few weeks. But there have been some great matchups, and it's only going to go get better as we get into the
Yeah.
semifinals and then the finals. So if you're able to watch Afcon, definitely tap in. About my favorite African winger is probably better than your favorite winger.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Talk to me. Talk to me. But yeah, man, it's been a exciting year, bro. Like we only in January, and I feel like just news in general has been kind of wild. Like
yeah,
from celebrity news just to world news. Now, footballing news, Manchester United getting their new guy starting to already make rumblings in the background. And then on the forefront, you see probably one of the biggest news of all time, Jurgen Klopp, man.
Yeah.
He's leaving Liverpool after I believe
yeah.
what it was 2015? Is that when he joined? 2000 and
Yeah,
let
I
me
think so.
let me fact check. I want to say it's he's
15 or
coming up on 9
16.
years. Um
Back when Adam Lallana and them man were Sakho.
yeah, I mean like when you think about how long he's been here.
Remember
What was that?
Martin Skirtle?
Skirtle. Oh my, he was
Yeah,
there forever
Yeah,
until Klopp
he was
got
there
there.
forever. Yeah,
Yeah.
Martin Skirtle, Jamie Carragher,
2015.
Daniel Agger. Remember them men?
What was the Eastern European guy? I forgot his name.
Who was it?
Eastern European guy, the center back, big dude. I forgot his name. Number
Lovren?
6, Lovren.
Lovren,
Oh
Salah
Dejan.
man,
Lovren.
Was he?
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
Dejan,
you're right. Dang.
Dijon.
Dejan
Dejan.
Lovren.
Yeah, no, they had some players, man. But when you think about it, like 2015, bro, like
Mhm.
2015 was wild. Obama was still president, bro. Like,
Yeah.
think
Mhm.
about how long ago that was. Almost a full decade. We're here, January 2014. and what he was able to accomplish.
Yeah.
You know, got them the coveted Premier League title that they all had been
Yeah.
just coveting, bro. They for years and years and years since the Stevie. I mean,
Since the Prem era, they haven't
yeah,
gotten
since the
one.
Prem
Yeah.
era. I mean, but realistically, since that Stevie slip, they've been
Yeah.
foaming at the mouths, bro. Like getting the Champions League was good. It was great. It
Mhm.
definitely calmed some nerves. But when they hoisted that trophy, bro, I mean, there have been lifelong Liverpool fans. I'll never forget it. The summer after Liverpool won, I was I was traveling somewhere and I'm in the airport and I see a guy just like sporting his Liverpool jersey. So I talked to him and he ended up being English, Liverpool fan. Like, you're just sitting at a bar,
Mhm.
you don't know, you're just talking to somebody just to talk. And bro, when you just saw the passion, he's like, bro, like I've been waiting, since the Stevie slip. And then I tell him I'm a Chelsea
Mm,
fan, and he's like, oh, fuck off, and
yeah,
then it just gets in a conversation. But when you see like what Klopp actually meant for that city and for
Yeah.
that club, I mean, everybody's been saying this since he officially announced it. It's going to be a very, very big void to fill.
Feel
And
absolutely.
truthfully, coming from a club where we haven't really had a manager like that. I mean, we've had Jose Mourinho, who's been kind of our guy, who's won the
Mhm.
gambit with us, but we haven't really had a long-standing manager. Kind of like how Sir Alex was at United, how Arsene Wenger was at Arsenal, even Pep now at City, and then Klopp. Man, when you look at what he's done for the club, he's going to go down in history as one of the best managers ever. But for Liverpool, I mean, probably one or two. Like seriously, you could go up there,
Yeah.
and I know there are some guys back in the day who probably won a little bit more
Yeah.
back when it was
yeah,
just four clubs in the Prem or whatever you want to call it. But when you seriously look at what he's done in today's modern era too, how he's never really had any issues with any of his players, like from a managerial standpoint, on and off the pitch, never really any issues. He's kind of one
Mhm.
of those managers that's always been like, you know what, if there's an issue that that players don't like, as a manager, I'm just going to take it on the chin. I'll be the guy that gets all the blame for everything that goes wrong. And that's kind of what you
Mhm.
want to look for in a manager, someone that takes all the heat, gets it away from the players, and just focuses on football. And I mean, I'm gonna love to see him go, knowing that Pep said the same thing. I'm gonna sleep
yeah,
easier at night that before we play
Absolutely.
Liverpool, knowing that I don't have to face Klopp over
Club.
there. But
Mhm.
at the same time, you need characters like this for the Premier League. You need characters like this for just for entertainment. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, this
Mhm.
is sports. This is entertainment. And Klopp has been, all of that and then some more. Just what he's been able to do, his interviews, kind of how he got fresh on the sidelines. We've seen the
Mhm.
evolution of
yeah,
Klopp. You know what I'm saying? Like
Absolutely.
the glasses to the non-glasses, you know what I'm saying? Got the teeth fixed up, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, man.
He's gone through his eras and it's been cool to see, especially, being in high school through college now and then now as an adult seeing kind of how he's risen as well from Borussia
Wow.
Dortmund, starting at Mainz to Dortmund to now Liverpool. It's just one of those things that I'll let you guys have your piece, but for me, it's going to be sad to see him go just because he really did bring like he held up the Premier League standard. Like when you see certain guys go, you wonder like what's going to happen to the league because you don't want the standard to drop. And unfortunately, like it's tough to say, but there's going to be big, big, big shoes to fill, and hopefully we don't see it drop too much.
Yeah, I mean, definitely shocking to describe, like the news because I don't think anyone really expected this, um, especially just because he just signed a deal not too long ago. So definitely was unexpected, but um, yeah, man, one of the best Premier League managers of the modern era. Um, you know, definitely influenced the Premier League and how teams play with his style of play. Um, and posed the only real threat to Pep and his team during arguably the best era a club has ever had in the Premier League. Um, hats off to Klopp. Everything that he's done for Liverpool, um, definitely one of the greatest to ever do it. But like Ten Hag said, um, eras come to an end.
Oh, yeah. Oh, please. Please. I mean, Klopp is one of my probably favorite managers that never managed, my club. And I mean, what Liverpool has been able to do to keep up with City, I can see why he's walking away. And majority of this majority of the time in situations like this, you don't get to walk away. That's what I was telling Omar. He's choosing to leave at the right time, in my opinion. You've done it. They could possibly win, the Carabao and then probably the Premier League and maybe even Europa. If he leaves with any of, those trophies, Omar said he wants the Europa more than anything because that's the one trophy he lost. Remember the first time he got there?
Yeah,
So it
that
would
would
be
be
like,
that would be
yeah,
a
you
good
know.
ending.
And I'm like, I think for a coach
Ooh,
like him,
Omar.
I wouldn't have loved to see him fired. So I like the fact that he's walking away on his own. And we're definitely gonna miss him, but man, Liverpool's good. I hope the next guy, coming in can pick it right back up. But
Yeah,
I doubt
it's been fun, Omar. It's been fun.
it.
Yeah,
I
that
hope you
5-year
enjoyed
plan is gonna have to
Yeah, when you see Omar, just ask him about the 5-year plan.
it. You know what's crazy, bro? Is that has it been 5 years
It
since
has been exactly.
it's been
It
since
has
he
been,
exactly
right?
said
5
that?
years, bro.
Like
He
he said
started it
that
in what,
20,
2019?
2018, right? Yeah, no,
2018,
2019,
2019, yeah.
right before COVID. five
Yep.
year plan,
Mm-hmm.
and now at the end of the 5 year plan,
Klopp
Bobby's
leaves.
gone, Mane's gone, and now Klopp's
Yeah.
leaving. Wow, Virgil
But
too.
but what did you guys think about what Virgil said when he was asked, are you gonna stick around after Klopp is gone? I thought he
Bro,
gave an
everybody
honest
thinking the
answer.
same thing, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought
I
it
thought
was
it
an
was an
honest
honest
answer.
answer. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was an honest answer. I mean, he's still in his prime. So
Mhm.
I mean, I think like, or at least maybe not his prime, but definitely like on the decline, but could still play at a high level. Um, so yeah, but I mean, at the same time though, like I think because now they're also bringing up like, oh, like his contract. What are they going to do with his contract? Is he going to extend or is he going to run his contract down and leave? But I feel like it really wasn't a problem until what 2 days ago, right?
Yeah,
And
and this is my thing, and of course the English media loves to twist and turn, and they try to find you like in a little snafu. But apparently, the whole staff has known since November. This is something that Klopp obviously had been thinking about for a minute, and he
yeah,
didn't want to spring it on the team. And so I feel like the reason he's telling us now as the public is because whatever happened in the background is kind of taken care of. The dust is settled. You tell the
Mhm.
team in November, whether that be before Thanksgiving or after, you kind of have all your questions answered. I'm assuming a lot of these players have also been media trained. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
at
Oh
the end of
yeah,
the day, a lot of
absolutely.
these guys don't speak English, so the English
Mhm.
media be trying to trip you up in the way they
yeah,
ask some of these leading
Yeah.
questions. So
Mhm.
I assume that they probably had like a team meeting where they're like, look, obviously once I go in public with this, everybody's gonna ask what's next. Kind of just keep it in house. That's kind of how I feel like, things are happening over there. Because
Mhm.
Virgil's answer was it was expected.
Mhm.
I'm here for the team now. We have a lot to worry about. The future will reveal itself when that happens. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. They
So
have they have a lot they could win potentially.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
like at the end
Mhm.
of the day, Klopp said, "Look, I'm not stepping away because I'm not good at the job. I can do the job. Like I'm doing the job right now. Like let's not get that twisted. I'm
Yeah.
stepping away because personally I'm tired. And it
Yeah.
was very, very interesting because I kind of want to talk about Luis Enrique, who's also announced that he's going to be leaving at the end of this year with Barcelona.
You mean
Um,
Xavi?
Xavi
or
Enrique, yeah.
I'm tripping.
Xavi
Xavi,
Hernandez.
yeah, Xavi Hernandez, who said he's going to be leaving this Barca after this year.
Yeah,
Um, and I was reading this article because, like I said, it's just been crazy news. In the last week, we've seen rumors that it could be this guy or it could be that guy. And,
Mhm.
Xavi's leaving, Klopp's leaving. What's next with the world state of football? And with Xavi, it was interesting because he said something along the lines of, I'm paraphrasing. He said, I'm leaving Barcelona because I feel like what I've done at the club has been undervalued.
Mhm.
And I feel like Klopp is the exact opposite. He's leaving on his terms. I feel like everything he did with the club, they started off in 2015 rough. You know what
Oh
I'm
yeah.
saying? Liverpool was not great. Like let's be honest, they weren't a for sure top 4 team when Klopp took over, and what he was able to do with them has now brought them to almost shoe in top 4 team. But with
Mhm.
Luis Enrique, he was talking about, or Xavi was talking about how with Barca, he doesn't feel like he's been valued as much, and how working at Barcelona sometimes becomes, very stressful. You can
Yeah.
win the whole lot, but if you don't do one specific thing, they kind of take the losses way more in high regard than the wins. And
Yeah.
it's interesting. I just wanted to pose this question because no Barca manager in the 2000 era has lasted longer than 3 years. There's only been three. There's been Luis Enrique, there's been Pep, and there's been I think Xavi right now is at like 2 years and 8 months or something like that. I think he's going to be the third manager. But what did y'all think about that? Like kind of how managers are expected to do a lot with these high profile teams, and with managers now, taking their mental health into consideration and stepping away from the game when they feel like it. Do you think teams are going to start looking at how they address these things differently?
I,
Um.
I just think that like this particular situation, I can see why he would feel undervalued. This is probably the worst era of Barcelona, in terms of financially speaking. So, financially they don't have the pool as they used to. I mean, obviously, like everybody wants to go play there, but
Mhm.
I mean, they can't afford anybody. So it doesn't like, when you look at the team now, like he's doing a lot with, and I don't want to say a little, but like when you look at that team, it's like, okay, Lewandowski, I'm sorry. And then you have what? Frankie De Jong, and then you have a bunch of young guys. That's it.
Mhm.
Like Ronald Araujo, like I think that like he's doing a lot with not that much. And I mean, and even the people that are being brought in, they're underwhelming. Like Jao Felix, what is he doing? Rafinha,
Rafinha,
like, are you kidding me? I told you guys when Rafinha went, I was like, this guy is not very good. He looks. You guys see him on Leeds, and it's just like this is a completely different ball game. But anyway, I think as it pertains to Xavi, um, I think it's a very tough position to be in. I think that when he took
Mhm.
the job, when he did take it, he was signing himself up for a very difficult task. He's won a league, so I feel like in spite of all the financial restraints, he's still found success. So yeah, I can see why he's feeling undervalued, especially because um, I mean, I feel like the more time goes on, it's more and more evident that Barcelona does not have money, so they're not going to
Mhm.
bring in any more people. So, and it's going to be, we need to do this because of that. And like honestly, if I was him, I'd be like, what's the point? It's hard for him because he's a legend of the club, played there. La Masia, I get it, but nah, man, he is undervalued, and I don't blame him. It's a messy situation to be in. No pun intended.
Yeah. I feel like you said it at the beginning. This is a complete different situation. This is a little bit of the Frank Lampard, but he has the trophies to back up.
For sure.
Um, in an interview, I believe before their game this past weekend, he was saying that if he doesn't win anything here, he expects to be fired.
Yeah.
And so I was a little caught off guard that he's stepping down. But then again, I feel like he's been realistic. All Barca fans I know do not like Xavi. They don't think he's a good manager, which is surprising to me because he's won you trophies since he's
Yeah.
been there, and he hasn't been there that long. So it's like you said, financially, they've had a hard time putting together the type of teams they usually put together. I mean, look at Real Madrid. And look
Yeah.
at Barca in recent year. I mean, it's not even close. So for him to step down, I respect it, but I mean, I don't know. It just I just didn't see it turning around for the long term. So it makes sense to me.
They're the
Yeah,
United of Spain, man. I swear they're the United of Spain.
Oh yeah.
Completely just blew their money, and now it's just like you have this historic institution, and you're just looking at it, and it's like they're out of everything, right? Like they don't
Yeah.
have everything. I mean, their game. Did you see the highlights to their last game when they gave up 2 goals in the
We watched that game.
stoppage time? Oh
yeah.
my god, that it was.
5-3.
It's like, yo, what are you guys? This is like, and it's tough because Frankie
I
De
mean, it's
Jong actually,
Barcelona too. Is like there's a pedigree with that. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
one to
like
lose 5-3, but just the goals you let
Yeah.
in, like
The
bro,
way you lose too, says a
yeah,
lot. And I personally also think his voice is not doing enough anymore in that locker room.
mm,
There are a lot of guys there that are not happy. Gundogan, I mean, has made it clear that he's not happy there.
yeah,
Look at the De Jong situation.
yeah,
There's been so many instances where just things haven't gone right there. Kessie came out and spoke about it. Nobody talks to him when he was there. So I
yeah,
think that locker room itself, he's lost the locker room. And
yeah,
I respect him, for seeing that and being like, okay, I'm gonna walk away.
yeah. I mean, and it's tough, man, especially nowadays because we look at these guys as like as what they were as players, and
Exactly.
when it
Mhm.
doesn't work out,
Yeah.
it's sad, definitely.
yeah. I mean, speaking about these guys, Xavi, we talked about Klopp. Obviously, we talked about Pep a little bit. As far as managers in this Klopp era, Pep era, let's just call it the 2010s till now, the last 15 years or so.
Yeah,
I mean, when you look at all the managers that have stepped in the Premier League, we put in Klopp top 5.
Yeah.
yeah.
I put him top 5.
I mean, my top 5 would be Sir Alex, Pep, Jose,
Ancelotti.
Wenger, Klopp.
And then, yeah, I agree with that list. I think it's a
Yeah,
fair list.
Ancelotti, I like it, but I don't know. Nah,
Not what
He
he
did,
was able to do
in the Prem, like, I don't think he's really.
he won a Prem, but the
He
guys
did.
on the
He
list
did win a
did
Prem. He did win a
multiple
Prem.
things. Yeah, I mean, you could throw Conte in there, but I mean, he just won one, so I don't know.
I
Klopp
just
won one, but he's
would-
also won,
Klopp would
Champions
have.
League and
Klopp
all
would.
that on top of that.
He would have won so many had he just not been in the same
Exactly, as Pep.
era as Pep.
Mhm.
So I mean, definitely top 5 manager of the Premier
Easily.
League for sure.
Mhm.
I would have loved to see a prime Jose versus Klopp. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
Mhm.
showdown. And that'd be like Tuchel versus Conte, like 2.0.
Absolutely,
Ha!
absolutely.
Because
No, it's
Two different personalities.
for sure. What would you say his best team was? What was Jurgen Klopp's best Liverpool team?
2020.
Yeah.
That 19, 20, and then 20, 21.
Okay.
Those 2 years, yeah.
So then who would you say Jose's best team was?
Oh, Jose probably 04, 05,
yeah. I was gonna say his first stint.
and then
That's,
probably 2009, 2010.
was that the year you guys conceded what, like 13 goals?
15, yeah.
So who's winning? That Liverpool or Chelsea? That Chelsea team or that Liverpool team?
Wow. That's a
If
good
we're at
one.
home, we're winning.
You guys didn't really concede.
We didn't concede for real.
Yeah.
But
If
Liverpool
it's at
always scored.
Wembley,
Liverpool always
if
scored
That
though.
team
what I'm
always
saying, if it's
scored.
at Wembley, like somewhere neutral, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because Liverpool
I
easy.
probably would have gone with that Chelsea team because we just had a lot of guys that could have, stopped Salah, neutralized half of these guys. I'm
Drogba,
going with that Chelsea team. Yeah.
Drogba versus Van Dijk.
Oh yeah.
Prime.
Oh yeah.
Prime.
Yeah.
Drogba win against what's it called? Vidic and Ferdinand and oh yeah. Sol Campbell, Ledley
Okay.
King, all these guys. He went against them, so I'm
Yeah.
definitely giving Drogba the nod.
All right. Well, since we're on Chelsea, well, let's talk about your guys' was it draw versus Newcastle? No, I'm sorry, Aston Villa, right?
Aston Villa.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Um, I don't really know how I feel about it, to be honest. It wasn't a great match. Both teams had chances to win. Again, Cole Palmer with another chance to put a game away. I don't want to say put a game away, but give us the lead kind of early and just kind of squandered it. We had a few chances like that in the second half as well, where I feel like we squandered it. Just very, very good chances in the box, and we weren't able to put them away. I mean, it's a Chelsea that we've known of this year. Like they're not
Mhm.
going to, they're very, very young and they're immature in the league where they don't realize that moments like that can change the
Mhm.
entire match, can change an entire season, can change an entire month. Um, at the end of the day, we're still in a lot of different competitions. We're still in FA Cup, still in Carabao. We have the final next month, and we're still arguably in the league. If we get a win, I'm saying tomorrow we jump from 10th place to 7th place. A draw puts
Mhm.
us in 8th. You know what I'm saying? With 16 games left in the season. So
Stop the cap.
yeah, it's no cap, man. It's
No, we
straight
have a
numbers.
chance. We have a
Numbers,
chance.
men lie, women lie, numbers don't. So you could go look at the table and do the math yourself. But
Stop the
when you're
cap.
looking at a little bit over halfway through the season, I feel like that match against Aston Villa was a momentum game. I
Mhm.
feel like if we would have won that game, it would have been very, very good. I would have felt a lot better coming
Into this
into this
game.
match
Yeah.
against Liverpool. I mean, we've been talking about it all
Mm,
year. Like every week
yeah.
we come in here and we say, look, January is by far our easiest run of games until we see
Mhm.
Liverpool. The Aston Villa thing kind of came up by luck of the draw, but
Mhm.
until we
Yeah.
saw Liverpool, we had very, very favorable matches all of January. And so far, we've gotten basically max points. So for
Mhm.
me, and I'm looking at Chelsea, I feel confident. But when you see a game like Villa on your schedule, and then specifically today, when you saw how Villa struggled against Newcastle at home, is one of those
Mhm.
things where it's like, well, Newcastle also has a lot of injuries, but they were able to put 3 on this Villa team at home.
Mhm.
So, I'm looking at Chelsea, I'm looking at Newcastle, I'm kind of looking at where we are on the table, where we've looked for the last 2-3 weeks, and I would say we're a better team than Newcastle right now, but somehow we weren't able to convert at home
Mhm.
against a Villa team, that was pretty much at full strength. So it's tough to see a draw like that. It was good to see Chile stretch his legs a little bit. I think that having him in our lineup makes us a lot more offensive. Um, but yeah, I'm kind of just I don't know. It's one of those games that made me uneasy. It wasn't great
Yeah.
to see us draw at home, but I wasn't so
Mhm.
mad about it. I was more so just like, well, what does this mean for Liverpool?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I agree with you. I think you pretty much said everything. Villa haven't been really that good recently, and I thought we could, catch them, but we have to go play another game. But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, you said everything. It seems like the guys are starting to come back around, but this has been our story this season. We're just not clinical. And we've had that issues for years now, but this year we're young and it's even more glaring than usual. I mean, Palmer could have scored, somehow just didn't put it away. And I don't know. Senegal is out now, so Jackson is coming back. Um, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm very confident. I know we have a lot of guys that we called back from loan that apparently we're keeping all of them, to booster the team. So we'll see what happens with some of these young guys. But I like what we're doing. Just don't go to Liverpool and embarrass yourselves. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I mean, if I were a betting man, which we'll give our picks at the end of the episode, I'd bet the draw.
Yeah, I mean the last 7 has been a draw. So
But yeah, man, the way Liverpool has been on a tear right now, don't want to see them at Anfield. I'll say that much.
Mm.
yeah,
But Arsenal. So Arsenal played today. Very, very the first half was kind of deceiving. I feel
Mhm.
like Nottingham Forest played very well in the first half, and then second half frauds will always show themselves. Mr. Matt Turner, close your legs, sir. Um, I don't know. When you get a goal scored like that, I feel like as a defender, as a team, you kind of just like, well, that's it. And Gabriel Jesus with a goal and an assist today. Saka with a right foot goal. Good for Jesus. He Gabriel's been very, very critical of him, and I know he's not here tonight, but it was good to see Jesus get back, on the the goals sheet and added an assist as well. A very good counter. I
Saka
would have,
too. Saka
you know what
too.
I'm saying. Saka, I feel like needed that goal. It's been a little drought,
Starving.
and more so than just goals. This team needs to get their confidence back if they want to win the
Yeah.
league. Like let's be honest. Liverpool's top of the league. City is coming.
Hmm.
That's just it is what it is. And with this announcement, these Liverpool cats are going to be playing for Klopp for the rest of the season. And
Yeah.
they low key already have been. Now it makes more sense seeing why their last
Why?
couple of months they've been
Absolutely.
on juice because
Hmm.
they've internally known what it is, since November. So now seeing why they're playing with a little bit more, pep in their step, no pun intended, is kind of like,
Yeah.
yo, this is going to be
True.
one of those Premier League seasons where it's going to come down to the wire. And if Arsenal doesn't continue to rack up wins like this, even when you don't have the greatest of a full 90 minutes, you got to get you got to get the win. So I was able to watch some of the match. Were you guys able to watch the match? What do you think about Arsenal?
Yeah. I mean, I think you hit you said it. They have to find their confidence, and this win, even though it wasn't that big, apparently they haven't won at the city stadium in
Wow.
the 21st century. So this was like the first win in a long time at Forest. So I don't know. This was a definitely, even though it wasn't, that big of a team, this was a big win for them.
Mm-hmm.
Keep
Yeah,
the
I mean,
pace, close the gap, don't fall too far behind.
yeah, I felt like they were fairly even for large amounts of the game. I think second half, I mean, the first goal went in, and then like I don't know, it just seemed as if like they just kind of like lost hope and they just switched off.
Mhm.
But that's what good teams do. Like even when it doesn't look like the prettiest, they got the 3 points, and for them that's the most important. I thought, like you said, Cornelius Jesus getting his goal was good. Um, I think even for Saka too. I mean, for him to get a goal and just to kind of continue on what's been a good season for him, I think is hopefully will be good for him and them going forward. Yeah, I mean they got some big games coming up, so I'm curious to see what they look like. Thoughts on ESR start today? Did you guys see anything there? Mike, you're on mute.
Nah, I mean,
That's a
it
sell.
kind of it kind of was like, okay, this is why you don't play, or oh, is it just because you're rusty? You're not, you
Nah,
haven't been playing, so this is why you're playing this way. But I mean, he tried, but
the
he
kids be
wasn't
like,
impressive
You're
to me.
selling.
Yeah, he wasn't.
You're
Ah, that's
selling.
good.
You're definitely selling.
Zinchenko, another one, just kind of off today. But
Yeah, what was
I don't
his
know.
little feud with Ben White at the end of the game? Did y'all see that?
Yeah, I don't
Mm-mm.
know. There has to been something. I
I
don't
think he
know.
said something. I mean, like it's every week though. I can
Hmm.
see it though. It's just kind of like, yo, you just keep getting beat. Like,
Hmm.
because I get it. As a defender, you take pride in clean sheets. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
I don't know, to give up that goal. And I mean, forget the clean sheets. Obviously, it's a threat to 3 points at that point. But
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think it's very obvious. I mean, Gabriel said it. We all know it. We've known it. Vinny Zinchenko 1-on-1
Yeah.
is easy.
Barbecue chicken.
Yeah,
Barbecue
I like
chicken.
my chances, to be honest with
Hmm.
you. But yeah, man.
I mean, they have guys coming back too, so they just have to really keep winning if they want to be in this title race. I personally don't think they're in a title race, but we'll see. I mean, City has 2 games in hand. Those are not guaranteed wins, so we can't just, just write Arsenal off. This was a good win for them to, keep the gap close.
Yeah, no, I disagree, Mike. It's definitely a title race. I mean, Gabriel would sit here and say, if they don't get a striker, they're not going to win the league. I mean,
Mhm.
I do believe in that with a little bit of heart, but at the end of the day, like you guys did it all last year and led the league with no real striker. So I'm not trying to hear
Mhm.
that same excuse now that,
True.
oh, we needed a striker, we didn't get one. Well, you know that. So you're gonna have to adapt. Like that's what your
Mhm.
manager is there for, to put you guys in the best position to win with the tools he has at his disposal.
Yeah.
If you don't get a Phillips screwdriver, go ahead, use that flathead. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, you got to use what you got. And so
Yeah.
for them to win points, like I think that's where last year last year towards the middle of the season, they went on a run where they,
Mhm.
they were really, 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 really good. And then they kind of fell out at the end, whether it was burnout, whether it was Saliba, whether it was whatever you want to blame it on. I think now they kind of understand that burnout isn't an option if you want to win the league. And so games like today, where last
Yeah.
year maybe they escaped with a draw, you know what I'm saying? I think today they just have to do what they need to do to win. And I mean, look, they're 2 points behind Liverpool. Even if City do win their 2 games in hand, they'll be 3 points behind City. So it's still within 1 game margin. They're definitely in a race. And so for them right now is just to continue to get 3 points every time they're on the pitch.
Yeah, which is a difficult task.
It is. No, it definitely is. But I do want to say, shout out to Luton today because it's been a rough first half of the season to them, and they were able to put 4. I know we didn't have this, on the docket, but 4, man. And I'm not gonna hold you.
When have they ever scored 4? When
No.
Bro, in the Premier League, first and foremost, I haven't been to Prem in
Mhm.
over 30 years, or over 20 years. So I don't even know if they scored 4, but bro, I was looking at the game because I get alerts on my phone and it said Adebayo goal 1 minute,
Second minute.
and then
that first minute goal,
third-
has you always wondering what happened?
you're like, bro, what happened?
What
And then,
happened in that first
Yeah.
minute?
I put my
First
phone
second.
down. 2 minutes later, Ogbeni goal, 3rd minute, 2-0 Luton. So I'm like, hold up, man. I'm in the
What's going
office, but let
on?
me go ahead and get Peacock on, put my little earphones in.
Yeah.
And so, Peacock lets you scroll back to the beginning of the match.
Yeah.
And shout out to Luton, man. They were pressing. I'm talking about like from the first whistle, the press was crazy.
Yeah,
To the point where Brighton low-key looked off, like they look taken off guard because on the pitch you could see the players like passing it back kind of lackadaisical.
Yeah.
And you're getting rushed at like this. When
Oh yeah.
Where was the game at?
The game was at Luton.
Sometimes when you think it is just like an easy
It was
way,
at Luton.
Nah.
Yeah.
And the
Bro.
other team started sprinting.
Bro, that's what I was saying earlier in the year, man, when we were going to Luton. I'm like, bro, I don't know if we can win there. Like, I was surprised we got out of that. Remember that game? 3-2? Somehow we escaped. They didn't put the 3rd goal in. So I'm so happy for them out of relegation. Bro.
Yeah, man, out of relegation. And today was a big day, they needed, like every team they needed to lose lost, and they did exactly what they had to do. And 4 goals, it might not seem crazy because their goal differential is still at -10, but at the end of the day, them goal differential is going to be what propels you, whether to relegation or not. They're now sitting 17th place. Nottingham Forest, has -13. So if it comes down to one of those 2 teams, they have the goal differential currently. They just need to get the points. So it's tough. Everton currently at 18th place with 18 points. Again, they got the point deduction at the beginning of the season, so that's why they're down there. But then you look at Luton, 19 points, Nottingham Forest, 20 points, and Brentford, Ivan Toney is back, but they're still not out of the woods yet. I know they have a few games in hand, but relegation, that third spot is still up for grabs, you know, and no
Don't
one
let
wants to.
Brentford get relegated. Boy, what?
Oh man,
Ivan Toney going for 30
for
back.
cheap.
What?
But yeah, man, it's I
Gee.
just wanted to say shout out Luton just because today was a massive win. I mean, the first 2 goals were straight up off of them pressing and the defenders making a mistake. Or I believe one of them was they try to pass it through the middle, easy takeaway, and they countered with 5 because they already have 4 people up there. It's like it's crazy when you see tactics that work, especially
Yeah.
exactly how they're supposed to work in the beginning of a match. Because there's no way De Zerbi thought he was going to be down 2-0 within the first 5 minutes of the match. And that switches up the whole game plan. They never recovered and they lost by 4. You know, this is going to be one of those matches that, you know, all this De Zerbi hype, they're talking about who's going to get this new Liverpool. Man, this is a L on your jacket, dog. Like, this is a big L on your jacket.
So
Overrated?
said that. I'm so
I
glad you
wasn't
said
gonna, I
that,
wasn't gonna go overrated, but this De Zerbi hype
bro.
is
He's
quieting
had
down.
some bad losses this
He
season.
has some bad L's this season. This season.
And I'm talking.
So we don't have the capacity.
Bro, that was funny. Oh my god. But we need to talk about De Zerbi, this guy. I still think he's a good manager. I wouldn't say he's overrated. But some of these losses.
Yeah, for sure. Big losses too.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it just comes with it, man. I think that the unpredictability of the Premier League, you know, any game anybody can get got. I think to Cornelius's point about Luton's start, I mean, I think for them to just completely blitz them in the first 5 minutes of the game, they got a goal and they created a few chances from it, man. So I mean, I don't know. Playing at Luton's it's a tricky place, man.
It's a tricky place nowadays, man.
I swear. They be catching them at the bar. They be catching them lacking at the bar. That's what happened, man. Yeah, Luton, man. I told Cornelius, it looks like a part of like Uptown, Mike. You remember Uptown? And then you just pop over and it's like you know, remember the alley to go
Pachinko, like Pachinko.
Yeah, Pachinko's and like let's just come through here and then you turn left and that's the stadium. It's just you're in the stadium.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing. A lot of teams, like, you'll play down, you know what I'm saying? Depending on where you're at, you'll play to the level. And I feel like a lot of the times the mentality, you know, because the Premier League is fortunate to have some of the best facilities, you know, in the world.
Yeah.
And even, you know, some of these lower teams, even somewhere like Brentford, who just came to the Prem, they still have very, very good facilities. But when you look at a team like Luton Town, who had been down in the depths of the English, you know, football tier, and now how they've gotten their way all the way to the pinnacle, the Premier League, but they still don't have the facilities that a lot of these other teams have. I feel like when you go there, you don't think it doesn't feel like a Premier League game. You know what I'm saying? It feels like a FA Cup match or maybe a Carabao match where you're playing somebody on the lower tier. And they looking at you like, bro, come over here. We gonna everything we got. You know what I'm saying? We asked Sally Mae to
drag you
some beans and pie before the match. You know, they're doing potlucks before the match. They're handing, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
So for them, this is the Prem. Like this is what they fought for. This is what they wanted to get to, and now they're here and they're taking every single game. They're not taking any single game for granted. You know what I'm saying? They're going 110% every match. And even though the quality is not there for a lot of these guys, it's clear you can get caught. And so it's cool to see what Luton does. Honestly, I would love to see them stay up in the Prem.
Me too. I would love to see them stay.
It's just a cool story. You know, it's a team that I know Chelsea probably can beat. So it's fun for me whenever we get to see them on our schedule. But you know, all jokes aside, it's stories like this that keep watching the game entertaining, more fun. You know what I'm saying? Just like Salam said, anybody can get beat in the Prem. And this is becoming one of those places where you don't want to go. You know, Brentford just came into the Premier League a few years ago. No one wants to go to Brentford. You know, Newcastle. Historically, one of those places you don't want to go, and now they have money. No one wants to go to Newcastle. Luton, it seems like you're playing at your middle school. Nobody wants to go. And so, like, the Premier League is getting back to that era back in the 2000s where it's like, all right, obviously they're the top teams, but you might get a little, you might get a little.
You can get caught in the
You know
alleyway.
what I'm saying? It might get a little tough going into some of these sides on a Tuesday night, on a Wednesday night. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's cold outside. Some of these guys are just coming off work. They just stopped at the pub and now they're going home. Let's watch a Premier League match. So yeah, man, it's been cool to see. But yeah, a lot of stuff's going on. The Premier League is back. Let's get into some predictions. We got some games tomorrow.
Manchester United. We forgot Rashford. Don't let him go.
Let's talk about young Rashy out here acting like Billy Manziel.
He's a disgrace. That's what it is, a disgrace.
Young Rashy, man. It seems like whatever happened, and they took care of it internally. But Salam, would you do us the pleasure of giving us a little bit more insider info on this delightful story?
Yeah, I mean, he was reported, I guess, the night before training. He was out in Belfast. He wasn't even in the country. So I'm not sure what happened. Damn. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened or why he thought that was a good idea, but here we are. I think it's a shame. I think obviously, like, players go out. Like, I'm not asking you not to go out. I mean, that's just a part of just like life. You can do whatever you want to do, but I just I just think that it's just hard, like, just to think about. This is a guy from the academy. Like, he's one of the senior players there at the club at the moment. Like, that, like, we're going through a very tough time, like, right now. Like, we have been. And right now, as like one of the senior players, someone who, like, I guess in my interpretation, like, understood, what it meant to be, a United player. I just, like, you don't feel that responsibility. It just doesn't seem like he cares. And I mean, just to kind of keep it brief, I think everything that needed to happen with the Rashford situation happened. He was suspended for the Newport game. I don't really see any point of suspending him anymore at this point, especially just where we are in the season. I think that we need him in order to be productive going forward, and so that we can get as many points as we can. And in spite of everything, we're a better team with him. So from now until the end of the season, I say stick with him, and then in the summer, sell him, because he clearly doesn't want to be here. So, and to be honest with you, it just hasn't worked out. He hasn't really, fulfilled his end of the bargain after he's gotten the contract. And I told you guys, I said, like, I'm very afraid. I'm very curious to see, like, what happens to him, like, when he gets the contract. And here we are, and yeah. So.
All right. So, I mean, let's be honest. This is one of those matches where he knew he wasn't going to play, bro. At the end of the, like, I hear you. I think this story is only blown up because he got caught. And in this day and age with social media, with camera phones, you just got to be careful, bro. You kind of have to. You got to
be careful, though. You knew it. He was wearing all white. Like he wasn't not trying to get caught. Like, what do you mean? He is in 2024. He knows what it means to be around cameras and all that. I don't think it's about that. I think this is a fundamental, like, I think he just doesn't, like, care, and that's fine. Like, it's not fine because he's our.
Yeah, I mean, it's not fine. But I mean, I feel like he knew that this was one of those games he could get away with not playing.
No, but bro, he's our highest paid player, and he knows at the end of the day, the manager, he's one of the manager's favorites. So it doesn't really matter what he does. He's gonna know that he's gonna be able to kind of get away with whatever, because this isn't the first time that he's done this. You know what I'm saying? Like, been late or not came to training. Yo, he went out 2 nights in a row. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't even, it wasn't even like, if it was the one night, I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, this is Everybody has one of those. Okay, I've been there. But 2 nights in a row. You went the second night too? So, I mean, I just think there's no point in suspending him. We need him right now. We don't really have anybody else in those positions, especially because Palestri's on going on loan. Ahmad is back. He can't get a game against Newport County. So at this point, I really don't know like what's going on there. I think Ten Hag's man management is just it is what it is, man. Obviously, and think about that. Like think about what Rashford did and think about why Sancho is in Germany right now. And it's just like, Rashford knows at the end of the day, like he can get away with it. So it doesn't really matter. He's Marcus Rashford.
Oh, he has to just apologize.
He's not going to though. I don't think he.
No.
I really don't think he. I don't know.
I mean, that's the only thing Sancho didn't do.
But Sancho didn't need to apologize. But Sancho's thing was like towards like the actual, like, I don't know, bro. Like this guy.
Yeah, man. For me, what this tells me is that this manager is losing it. He doesn't have that fear in the locker room or I would say respect. Would you say respect? I mean,
I would say respect. Yeah.
I mean, come on. Rashford at this point of his career, these are not things y'all should be going through. But we forget he's still young.
He's 27.
But
he's 27. What do you mean he's he's closer to 30? What do you mean? Like what?
He's in his prime right now. I get it, but it's just
prime.
like
that's what I'm saying. He just got caught. Like you can't be.
That's what I'm saying. This is not the
even that Newport game. That was a slap on the wrist. He knew. Look, at the end of the day, if I get in trouble for this, I gotta play. But my thing,
Cornelius, you said that he knew he didn't have to play. What do you? As if you're a player who has been in crazy form. You haven't scored. Like you have. I think. Well, he scored. He scored. But like you haven't played well. You haven't really developed. We have a new striker in. Maybe this is a game where we can an easy game where we can just
build something.
Build something, create chances, and see the ball go into the back of the net. No, this like I don't think that like he sees like I don't think he cares, to be very honest with you. And I think that this is a product of the club and the fans because we've created this monster. So like it's just and we rewarded him with a 300+ K a week contract. So I mean, we're just gonna have to hold it. But like I said earlier, from now to the end of the season, play him, deal with whatever you have to deal with. I know I'm calm about it because I know Omar is watching. Omar Barada is watching, and to be very honest with you, like these guys are gonna get some of these people out of here. Which is why another reason why I think it's crazy he's moving the way he's moving. Like this is a chance for something new, and you clearly you don't see the picture at all because you just But yeah, man, let's get into predictions.
Yeah, let's get to it. So Chelsea. Tomorrow we see good old Liverpool.
It's gonna be a doozy.
At the Anfield, like I said, if I was a betting man, I would say take the draw. But right now, I really don't have that much faith in my Chelsea team, especially coming off that draw against Aston Villa. But the one thing I will say about this year is Pochettino has gotten these guys up for the big matches. Whether, I don't know what it is, but for some reason against the top 4, top 6, we have very, very good matches. So for me, I would say take the draw. I don't see us winning. I do see a situation in which we can win, but based on how I've seen how the lack of players being clinical in the box, this is going to be a game of few chances, I believe, and we haven't been a team that's been clinical enough to convert on our few chances. We need 7-8 chances to score. It's been clear. So for me, I think that it'll be a close match. And hopefully we can get it done.
Yeah,
But I would
I'm
say
going 0-0. I don't expect goals in this game. If there are
Wow.
goals, we're probably going to lose.
Wait, so you don't? If there are any goals, you don't think it'll be from you?
No.
No, I think we can score. Like let's not get it twisted.
Who's going to score?
CP.
Oh, okay.
It's still cold outside, baby.
I mean,
It's January.
Nkunku is back, so I know we have reinforcement on the bench, but like, I don't see us scoring really in this game. I think it'll be tight. There'll be chances, but I think it ends 0-0.
Yeah, I mean, just in the past with us in Liverpool, there's been a lot of 0-0 draws. So I would, again, if I were a betting man, I'd say take the draw.
We play Wolves at the Molineux on Thursday. I don't want to be overreactionary, but I really think that this is, up until this point, the biggest game of our season. And the reason why I say that is because right now we're on 32 points. If we win, we'll be at 35. And that'll kind of put us into that sixth spot. Sixth, that fight for sixth, seventh place. And I think 3 points would definitely be a big boost towards that. And hopefully, like with the new movement that's going on, and with the board and everything, getting Champions League would be getting Europe would just be a big plus. So hopefully we can get into Europe. At this point, that's what my goal is. Even the Conference League, I'll take I'll take the Conference League at this point. But yeah, my here we go. I guess my lock of the week is going to be this game actually right here.
A United win?
No. Rasmus Højlund, anytime goal scorer.
Okay.
My man will score. And you know what it is? I also just wanted to say shout out to Rasmus Højlund too, because that goal that he got, he had to fight for that. He had to fight for that goal. You know what's crazy?
My life, I had to fight.
Anthony had more shots than him. Garnacho had more shots than him. Bruno had more shots than him. He was fourth in shot, and that's our 9. And again, people say, double.
All those guys should be creating for him.
Yeah, and that's fine. It's okay.
But shoot or shoot, man. That's all I'm gonna say. Shoot or shoot. You gonna get hit.
All right. My lock for the week is West Ham over Bournemouth.
Wow. West Ham over Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have I want to look at the line, so I could maybe move it, but I have Atleti over Rayo Vallecano.
Cornelius with this sophisticated pick.
It's not even a sophisticated pick. Atletico Madrid in the Spanish league. These again, shout out Griezmann, man. He's been on a mad thing, so I gotta shout him out.
Yeah,
he's been going crazy this last month. Atleti is minus 220. I'd even say take them minus a half. Take them minus a half. It doesn't matter. At home, Atleti.
Okay. Well, there you have it.
Need the max win.
Let us know. Let us know how these picks are working out. You know what I'm saying? Let us know. But yeah, you guys have any shout outs before we wrap up?
Yo, Cape Verde. Shout out to Cape Verde, man. Keep doing the thing.
Shout out to Adebayo getting I believe his first hat trick in the Premier League.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, shout out Luton, man. The crazy story. I'm actually rooting for them now. I know I had them going down in my predictions, but I actually am rooting for them now.
Yeah.
Shout out Shout out Rasmus. I don't know. I was gonna say shout out Rashford, man. Just hopefully, get your mind right, man. Get your mind right.
Oh man.
Oh, brother.
But yeah, so the Afcon final is next Wednesday, February 7th. We'll probably hop on before then. So we'll have our takes on these quarter and semifinal
Papa will
matches.
join too, for sure.
All right.
Yeah, we'll hopefully have some other
Poppy.
guests who can talk about
Special guests.
we
man.
can talk about Mother Africa.
For sure.
All right.
Yeah. But as always, appreciate everyone for tuning in, and good luck to you.